Good Friday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on this September the 13th. It's Friday the 13th. Ooh. And I'm Chris Allen on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Rain, we've been getting some. I mean, it's not that impressive, but at least it's some rain. And we're going to get some more. This is only kind of the beginning of that rainy period that we're going to see this weekend. While it's not going to rain continuously through the weekend, the chance of rain is there all the way through the weekend and into the beginning of next week. But that doesn't mean that it's going to just rain, and not stop. It's going to come in waves. We've got some rain that's has been pushing through this morning, and now we're getting one of those breaks right now in Bowling Green, as you can see from the Plano cam here at 7:32 a.m. Clouds and a breeze. That breeze is going to continue from the east as we go through the weekend. You can even see to the left-hand side of the screen a few holes in the cloud cover. Those will be temporary. There will be times when the sun tries to break through that overcast when it's not raining. But then any sun that we get may trigger more showers and even a few thunderstorms because of the instability factor. Instability is not very high, but there's enough moisture in the atmosphere that when we get a little daytime heating, then things could heat up enough to possibly spark a thunderstorm or two. But the chances of that not running very high, but maybe high enough to, to mention. The heaviest of rains have pushed a little bit further north and west of us, as you can see on the current radar. There's still a few light rain showers around the Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky area as of 7:33 a.m. this morning, with temperatures in the 60s. This is one of those little breaks from the rain bands rotating around what was Hurricane Francine, and it is going to continue to be like you see it for the course of the weekend. Here you see that very broad rotation. That is the actual low pressure system that once was Hurricane Francine. Now it's just a low pressure system that's sitting and spinning and wobbling around. It's going to continue to sit and spin all weekend and into the start of next week. You can see the heavier rains are expected right there south of the Kentucky border, south of the land between the lakes, through parts of west Middle Tennessee, northern Alabama, a little sliver of eastern Mississippi, parts of Georgia. From the Gulf moisture coming up, that's where some of the heavier rains are going to be. But we don't have any flood advisories or flood watches here in southern Kentucky because it doesn't appear that we're going to get rain heavy enough to prompt any kind of flooding issues. In fact, some of the rain chances have gone down just a bit because of the more westward push of that remnant low pressure system. Now, I know I don't like that either. I was hoping we could stay in that line of heavier showers where we could get a good soaking rainfall, but the latest information and the latest models and the way this thing is behaving has taken down, as you'll see, the expected rainfall. We're still going to get some rain, and some of you still may get some heavy rain at times, but it's not going to be quite as much as what we were looking at just yesterday or even last night. So we'll check it out here in just a second. Here's a look at the Kentucky Mesonet network. We're starting in the mild 60s here this morning. And we've got, moisture, that's working in here. Temperature the dew point temperatures are about equal or close to equal with the air temperature. They have come up into the little bit more humid 60s. The winds have picked up as well. Winds from the east at 5 to 10, and occasionally we get a gust of 10 to 15 to close to 20. But you can tell that persistent wind from the east, that's pretty much going to be with us all weekend. Let's see who picked up rainfall yesterday. We did here in Bowling Green, now up at the Corvette plant, about a quarter inch, but only 1/100th of an inch near the Ag Expo Center. Some of you picked up near a quarter inch over toward Barron County, a half inch up near Litchfield and Grayson County, 6/10 over in Ohio County. The heaviest rains were over in the far western part of the state, an inch and a half, inch and three quarters. You get the idea right there in the Pennyroyal Purchase part of Kentucky. And then over in parts of the central bluegrass region, some over 1 inch, inch and a half rainfall amount. So, you know, where the heaviest rains land or actually propagate, it's going to be hit or miss because the circulation around what is left of Francine is in a way to where there are these bands that come through, and then outside of those bands, there's not very much in the way of measurable rainfall. So it's the haves and have nots. It's not going to be total coverage like we had maybe thought it would be at the beginning or had hoped that we would see. It's going to be more, yeah, this area got a lot of rain, the other area did not. It's going to be kind of like that. But there's, you know, still good rain in the forecast, and temperatures are going to hold pretty steady over the next several days. We're talking about 80s. We've ticked things up a little warmer given the fact that we're not looking at quite as much rain as what we had earlier looked at. So everything's going to stay right there about 85, which is exactly where we should be this time of the year. We're not going to get too much warmer or too much cooler than that through the next 10 days. Just about every day is going to be right there in the mid 80s. And yes, there are more rain chances coming. There's another tropical like low pressure system that's going to be off the coast of the Carolinas during the weekend that's going to try to push some moisture over Appalachia, over the Smoky Mountains, and some of that looks to maybe come our way for part of next week. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. So here is a look at the maps and the way things are going to shake out. Here's that trophy weather over the area today. We're going to see that low pressure system sitting over Arkansas, sitting and spinning and just throwing the moisture out and around the area. It's, you know, again, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to get some rain and then it quits. Sun comes out. Then you could get a little more rain, maybe even a thunderstorm. But then you're like, where's all the rain that we were? Well, things do change. That's why it's weather. That low, if you'll recall, yesterday was going to be right here over the Boot Heel of Missouri and parts of eastern Arkansas. But now it is positioned a little bit further north of Little Rock. So it's further west. Therefore, we're now on the almost the have-nots side of this system. We need to be that low needs to be closer to us in order for us to get some heavier rain, but it's not, unfortunately. Now, this afternoon, this evening, I think that's when the best rain opportunity is going to happen. As you see there, a better chance of steadier rain and maybe even a thunderstorm. The low does come a little bit closer to us this evening. And tomorrow morning, it will just kind of be meandering around, moving a little further south into Mississippi. That takes it further away from us. Here we go tomorrow morning. Then it starts to work back into northern Mississippi. This thing, look, it has no upper steering current. In other words, it's not being caught up in any upper winds to take it away. So it's just going to sit here and linger and wander and wobble all weekend long. It may come close, then it goes back, and then it comes close again. And because of that, we're going to get very erratic numbers as far as rainfall. Some will get a lot and some will get very little. So here we go. Tomorrow morning, low pressure system tries to work its way into middle Tennessee, and there's, some of the rainfall, trophy weather, a little disturbed weather, but then the rains kind of lighten up as we get into Sunday. Here's Monday, still a few showers around. Tuesday, finally, that low gets caught up into some upper winds and begins to move away. But at the same time now, we've got this system. Whoops, I didn't mean to go that far out. We've got this system that's along the Carolina coastline that is going to, the one I talked about, that will be sort of tropical in nature, that's going to come in and throw a lot of moisture into the Virginias and the Carolinas. Some of that will make it over the mountains, but some of it won't. And here we go into Wednesday and into Thursday next week, dry, but here comes another system out west that we hope will bring us another chance of rain by the end of next week. And then, how about those rain chances? You remember yesterday we were looking at 1.5 inches, 2 inches, maybe some places getting up to 3 inches of rain. That has changed. Look at that. Now, we were in the deep red yesterday, right there in between the 2.5 to 3 inches of rain. Now we're into the blue, which is more of 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. There might be a few places that pick up 1.75 inches or close to 2 inches during the course of the weekend into the beginning of next week. But the confidence in that now has gone way down, simply because the remnant low pressure system is further west of us now. And because of that, it's taken away the best chance of getting measurable rainfall for us here in southern Kentucky. Therefore, it's kind of a letdown, but at least we're getting the rain. At least we're not dealing with no rain at all. We're at least going to get some rain. We've already gotten some, not much. It is a bit disappointing, but these tropical systems are very erratic. You cannot completely count on getting exactly what's forecast, especially in this case, when the remnant low has nothing, no steering winds above it. So it's just going to sit here and just kind of go, okay, where do I go? What do I do? And the steering winds are way away from that low pressure system. Once the two catch up with each other, then that low is going to be carried away from us, and that will put an end to the rain altogether. But until that time, this low is just going to be here, there, floating around. Not really. It's going to help some people, then others, they're just going to be left out. That's just the way it is. Okay. A note here before I go. I am going to be out all next week. In fact, I'm leaving tomorrow to attend a weather conference in Texas, and I will be there all next week. So I will not be doing these daily updates. I will not be on the radio, and I will not be on News 40. All next week. I'll be back on the 23rd, but all next week, you will not see me. You will not hear me. I hear somebody going, good. Yeah, okay. You're a real pal. Anyway, so you guys, you need a break from me. I don't need a break from you, but you need a break from me. And I'm going to be learning some new things. I'm going to be with, friends of mine that are in the business at other TV stations across the country. I'll be back with Jim Cantori, who was here a few months ago. He and I are friends, and we're going to hook back up, and people like him and people that, well, like Shane Hollandy, who I used to work with at BKO. He's going to be there as well. And other friends of mine in the Weather Service, National Weather Service, and other TV stations. We're all going to congregate. It's an annual thing, and we all like to get together and, share ideas and learn new things and just catch up with each other. I've got my kids all across the country that used to work at BKO under me, and they're now working at much bigger cities and TV stations: Kansas City, Tallahassee, Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, they're all over the country. So this is my opportunity to get back with them and, fellowship and just have a good time. So no updates like this all next week. No weather on the radio, no radio show. Today's the last one before I leave, and no weather on TV. You're going to miss me, aren't you? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you right here back on the 23rd.